Almonds are one of the most studied foods in nutrition science, and the evidence is remarkably consistent. Eating them regularly delivers measurable benefits across multiple systems in the body. Despite occasional concerns about their fat and calorie content, registered dietitians and a broad body of clinical research point in the same direction. A daily handful of almonds supports heart health, gut health, weight management, blood sugar regulation, and satiety, while posing virtually no downside for people without tree nut allergies. Here's what the science shows happens inside your body when almonds become a daily habit. The nutritional profile of a single ounce. Understanding why almonds produce such wide-ranging benefits starts with their composition. According to USDA data, 1 ounce of almonds, roughly 23 nuts or a generous handful, provides 164 calories, 6 grams of protein, 3.5 grams of fiber, and 14 grams of fat. That fat content is the number most likely to give people pause, but the type of fat matters enormously. The overwhelming majority of fat in almonds is unsaturated, the same category of heart protective fat found in olive oil and avocados. Saturated fat, the kind associated with elevated LDL cholesterol and cardiovascular risk, is present in only minimal amounts. Beyond the macronutrients, almonds deliver an impressive micronutrient profile in a single ounce. Magnesium comes in at 76 milligrams, supporting muscle function, blood pressure regulation, and insulin sensitivity. Vitamin E reaches 7.26 milligrams, which represents nearly half the daily recommended value from a single snack. And vitamin E is one of the body's primary fat-soluble antioxidants, protecting cell membranes from oxidative damage. Riboflavin, vitamin B2, essential for energy metabolism and cellular repair, is also present in meaningful amounts. This combination of protein, fiber, healthy fat, magnesium, and vitamin E in a single portable food is what makes almonds so nutritionally efficient. Molly Pelletier, registered dietitian and gut health specialist, describes the protein-fiber-fat combination as a trifecta for satiety. Each component contributes to the feeling of fullness through a different mechanism. Protein stimulates the release of satiety hormones, including GLP-1 and peptide YY. Fiber slows gastric emptying and adds physical bulk, and fat delays the rate at which the stomach empties, collectively extending the period between eating and the return of hunger. This is why a small volume of almonds, relative to processed snack foods, produces a disproportionately strong and lasting sense of satiety. Heart health, cholesterol, blood pressure, and beyond. A comprehensive review of the clinical literature on almonds found consistent associations between regular almond consumption and lower body mass, reduced fat mass, lower total and LDL cholesterol, improved blood pressure, and reduced heart disease risk. The mechanisms behind these cardiovascular benefits are multifactorial. The unsaturated fats in almonds, primarily oleic acid, the same monounsaturated fat that makes olive oil cardioprotective, help reduce LDL cholesterol while maintaining or slightly raising HDL cholesterol, shifting the lipid profile in a favorable direction. Almonds also contain plant sterols, compounds structurally similar to cholesterol that compete with dietary cholesterol for absorption in the small intestine, reducing the amount that enters circulation. The magnesium content contributes to blood pressure regulation through its role in vascular smooth muscle relaxation. Vitamin E provides antioxidant protection against the oxidation of LDL particles, a critical step in the development of arterial plaques. Together, these mechanisms explain why clinical trials using daily almond consumption consistently show improvements in cardiovascular biomarkers over periods as short as 4 to 8 weeks. Gut health, feeding the microbiome. One of the more recent and exciting areas of almond research involves the gut microbiome. Pelletier explains that eating almonds daily is essentially feeding the beneficial bacterial populations in the digestive tract. Almonds deliver 2 distinct categories of gut-supporting compounds: dietary fiber and polyphenols. Fiber, particularly the type found in almonds, serves as a prebiotic substrate, meaning it passes undigested to the large intestine where it is fermented by beneficial bacteria, including Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus species. The fermentation of almond fiber produces short-chain fatty acids, most importantly butyrate. Butyrate is the primary fuel source for colonocytes, the cells lining the colon, and it plays a central role in maintaining the integrity of the gut barrier. A stronger gut lining means reduced intestinal permeability, which limits the translocation of bacterial endotoxins into circulation, a process implicated in systemic inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, and a range of chronic diseases. Research has shown that daily almond consumption increases butyrate production and promotes greater microbiome diversity, a marker consistently associated with better metabolic and immune health outcomes. The polyphenols in almonds, including flavonoids and phenolic acids concentrated in the brown skin of raw almonds, add another layer of prebiotic activity. These compounds are metabolized by gut bacteria into smaller bioactive molecules that have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects both locally in the gut and systemically after absorption. One practical note: increasing fiber intake, including from almonds, should be accompanied by adequate hydration. Fiber draws water into the digestive tract and requires sufficient fluid intake to function properly. Without adequate water, increased fiber can paradoxically contribute to constipation rather than preventing it. Weight management. Why high fat does not mean weight gaining. The persistent concern that almonds, with 14 grams of fat per ounce and 164 calories, will contribute to weight gain is not supported by the evidence. Multiple studies and meta-analyses examining populations that regularly consume nuts, including almonds specifically, find either no association with weight gain or an inverse association, meaning higher nut consumption correlates with lower body weight and less abdominal fat over time. Several mechanisms explain this counterintuitive finding. First, the cell wall structure of almonds limits how completely their fat is absorbed during digestion. Research using fecal energy analysis has shown that a significant portion of the calories in whole almonds pass through the digestive tract without being absorbed, meaning the actual caloric contribution is lower than the label suggests. Second, the satiety effect of almonds is strong enough to reduce caloric intake from other foods, producing a compensatory effect that offsets the calories from the almonds themselves. Third, the protein and fiber content both have higher thermic effects than carbohydrates or fat, meaning more calories are expended digesting them. How much to eat and how to eat them. Pelletier recommends starting with 1 ounce, approximately 23 almonds, as a daily serving. Much of the clinical research on gut and metabolic benefits, however, has used 2 ounces, roughly 45 to 50 grams, per day, suggesting that the upper range of benefit may come from a slightly more generous portion. For people new to higher almond intake, spreading consumption across the day, adding some to oatmeal or a salad and eating the rest as a snack, makes the volume feel more manageable and distributes the satiety benefit more evenly. All forms of almonds deliver nutritional benefits, though raw and dry roasted versions are preferable to oil roasted or flavored varieties, which may add unnecessary sodium, sugar, or lower quality fats. Almond butter is a practical alternative for people who prefer a spreadable format, though portion awareness is equally important since the caloric density is the same. The most impactful dietary change almonds facilitate is straightforward. Replacing a processed, low-nutrient snack with a handful of almonds is one of the simplest upgrades available for both gut health and cardiovascular health simultaneously.